In my last film, we had a Chester Railway day out. I'm now travelling to Wrexham, North Wales. I'm planning to travel on the Wrexham to Bidston line called the Borderlands line. When reaching Bidston, it connects with the Wirral line part of Mersey Rail. I'll then travel into Liverpool, then head back to Chester with Mersey Rail. You can see Chester Station on the drawing. We'll be travelling on part of the North Wales coast, then heading south down to Wrexham. The blue line is the old track between Nickel Trafford and Hooton, and the green line is the main line on the North Wales coast. The dark blue line is the line we'll be travelling on later, from Wrexham up to Bidston. Welcome to Wrexham General Station. It's the only station left in Britain that is called a general station. By 1900, there was many stations across Britain called general stations, but they lost that title, and there was a few reasons. Some towns and cities had more than one station, and the largest station was called the general station. And when the smaller stations closed, the largest station was then just named after the town or city. Larger towns or cities which had more than one station decided to call their stations after street names or districts. Wrexham decided to keep its general station. It used to have 3, but now it only has 2. By the end of the 1800s, Wrexham had 3 stations. Wrexham General was opened in 1846. Then Wrexham Exchange, which opened May 1866 and was situated right next to the general station. Wrexham Central was a station further down the line which opened on the 1st November 1887. Wrexham Central Station closed in 1998. Replaced by a shopping centre, but a new station was opened 270 yards from the old one, and it opened in 1998. And currently it's the Borderlands line that serves the central station. This is a picture of the old Wrexham Exchange station. It was built by the railway company who built the southern edge of the railway between Wrexham and Bidston, the Wrexham Mould and Connor Quay Railway. The first stage of the line opened in 1866 and ran from Buckley to Wrexham Exchange. Call me sentimental, but there's something about that building that's rather attractive. Would have made an excellent coffee shop. Or tea room. Cream teas all round. Thank you. Sadly, it's no longer with us. It was bulldozed to make way for a better platform. Time for coffee. Cheer up, son. Give us a smile. And here is a platform at the general station where trains run in from Bidston, then carry on to Wrexham Central Station. Then it returns on its single track to Bidston. When travelling on the railways in Wales, you'll find that when you're waiting for your train, they'll announce all its station stops and its destination in Welsh, and then in English. Now, I lived in Cardiff for a while, and I used to love listening to the Welsh accents and the language. Have a listen to this.
Cardiff, Hope, Penaford, Buckley, Hawarden, Shotton, Neston, Heswall, Upton a Bidston. Platfform 4 am y gwasanaeth 28 munud i 1 o'r gloch trenau ar Rifa Cymru I Bidston. Pan yn ymuno â'r tren, byddwch yn ofalus o gap rhwng y tren a ymyl y platfform, os gwelwch yn dda.
The next train to arrive at platform 4 will be the 12:32 Arriva Trains Wales service to Bidston.
Now I can just imagine in ScotRail if every station announcement and station stop was made in Gaelic and then in English. I have my doubts if it would catch on. Anyway, you can see that it's single track from the General Station down to Central Station, but the majority of the line from Wrexham General up to Bidston is double tracked. It was the North Wales and Liverpool Railway that built the line from Bidston on the Wirral down to Hooton. It opened in 1896, and that's what linked Wrexham. Now let's take a look back at the map. The red line represents the route we've just taken down from Chester. The small blue line is a line between Wrexham General and Wrexham Central. The blue line is representing the line towards Bidston. You can see as we travel north that the Wrexham to Bidston line travels over the North Wales Coast Railway at Hooton and then over the River Dee, and that's where the railway companies had a problem.
Going that way is North Wales, going back the other way is Manchester. That's Hooton low level, that's Hooton high level.
The railway companies had a major problem, the River Dee. If they had plans to cross the river heading south towards Wrexham, they needed to build a bridge that was also capable of allowing ships to navigate up the River Dee. These were tall ships back in the 1800s, and the only solution was a swing bridge. It was the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway that built the swing bridge over the Dee. They were the railway company that were in control of the railway which ran through Chester's Northgate station. It took 2 years to build the bridge. It finally opened on the 3rd of August 1889. The bridge now is a fixed structure. After nearly an hour on the train from Wrexham to Bidston, spending most of it chatting with the guards, getting many tips and stories about the line, which was very much appreciated, I now arrive at Bidston on the Wirral, after a nice journey on the Borderlands line. As I stand here trying to work out how I get back to Chester via Liverpool by Mersey Rail, let me tell you something about the station, Bidston. It's part of Birkenhead. It's on the Wirral, situated at the junction of the West Kirby branch, and is part of Mersey Rail. The station originally built by the Hoylake Railway in 1866. During the early parts of the 20th century, Bidston Station was known as Bidston D Junction, a busy interchange between the Wirral and Wrexham. Now you know by now I like giving you interesting facts on railway history, but did you know that Mersey Rail was electrified in 1903? It was the first full electrification of any steam railway in the world. Fact. I'm not finished yet. The Mersey Railway Tunnel was one of the first underwater railway tunnels anywhere in the world. It opened in 1891. Fact. Research suggests there may have been a railway tunnel built slightly earlier, under the Thames, designed by Sir Mark Isambard Brunel. I knew his son. It's time now to catch the train back to Chester. We're coming into what I would class as a slightly famous railway station. It's called Rock Ferry. Now, why is it famous? I'll give you a clue. Duffy. No, I think this station here has got one of the best names of any station in Britain. Port Sunlight. How nice is that? I'm travelling back to Chester and I'm still on the Wirral line. The Mersey Rail is cleverly constructed. When travelling from the north on the Wirral line, you go through Liverpool in a circle, then back out south, either to Chester or Ellesmere ports. And the junction is at Hooton. Hooton station is on the former Birkenhead Railway, just before the junction towards Chester or Ellesmere port. The station was opened by the Chester and Birkenhead Railway on the 23rd of September 1840. Just before the end of the construction of this railway, in October 1839, a serious riot took place south of Hooton. Gangs of navvies working for the Birkenhead and Chester Railway gathered here to meet for its completion. One of the contractor's wages clerks made off with the pay for his men. This caused 2,000 navvies to riot. The military were called in from Liverpool and Chester, and there was 28 arrests. I'm now on the final stage of the journey, catching the train back to Chester. As we arrive back into Chester, I reflect on the story I mentioned regarding the riots at Hooton back in 1839. The railway companies all over Britain had a problem with the navvies, the majority Irish. Something had to be done. There was rioting, there was fighting, even murders. These hard-working men who were building our railways belonged to the railway companies. And there was a solution to this major problem. The railway companies decided to give their policemen the power of the law. As early as the 19th century, referring to railway police or policemen were not constables of the law. They were men responsible for signalling of trains, in some cases called bobbies. They carried out signalling duties with flags by the line sides, and often dressed in the same style as a constable of the law. Long coat, top hat. And they're now known as the British Transport Police.